One of the things I like about hypnosis is what it says about the way your mind works. What it says about the way everyone's mind works. How there are certain things, certain inputs, certain ideas, words, sounds, sights that overwhelm, that overcome, that cause you to be vulnerable. And exactly what those things are varies a little from person to person. But at the end of the day, you're quite predictable. You're quite easy to manipulate, to exploit. It's not that different from hacking a computer, really. Once you know the right procedure, once you know where those vulnerabilities are, and you've figured out how to make the most of them, there's not much you can do to stop it. Does that sound familiar? Once I know how your mind works, once I know what to do to take advantage of that, once I know the right sequence of words, or the right tone, or the right motivation to strip your mind away, it's inevitable that you'll end up where I want you. Can you feel it? That process starting. Your mind beginning to slip a little. Your thoughts slowing. My words becoming something you fixate so wonderfully on. Oh. Because once it begins, there's no way to stop it. That's right. Because unlike a computer, you can't update yourself to not be vulnerable to these exploits. You can't be patched to make your mind work differently. By hypnotizing you, I'm taking advantage of the inherent weakness in your security, in the way that you think, in the way that your mind is organized. I'm taking advantage of things that are so intrinsic to you and twisting them in ways that they were never designed for. And yet they give me so much control. Taking advantage of a process that I know so very well by now, and well, you're getting more and more familiar to melting, aren't you? To that sensation, that delight, that feeling. And it's feeling better and better every time you're melting more and more. And as you listen, as you fade, as you fall, as you drop, as my words slip through those gaps, the ones left so open, I'm just hacking your mind. And as with most hacking, there's several stages, aren't there? Start out with figuring out how you work. Well, you're here. You're listening, so that tells me quite a lot to begin with. I know the themes, the ideas that you enjoy, being controlled, being twisted, being helpless. That discovery stage giving me everything I need to start dismantling you. And then, next, of course, I take those vulnerabilities and I start to craft what I'm going to use to manipulate them. To use them. And that's what I'm doing now as you find yourself slipping deep. As you find my words starting to hit with an intensity that isn't normal. As you find yourself focused on my tone, on my language, on the meaning you can extract from my words in a way that's so much more than usual, so much more than you would usually do. That's what I'm doing now, is deploying that exploit, is using what I know about how you work to force you to act, to feel, to think, to operate in the way that I want. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's just a simple process, really. Taking advantage of what I know about how you work. Taking advantage of the way your mind ticks along, the way everything works. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. Not at all. You can't make my words less effective any more than you can change anything else about how your mind works. I, on the other hand, can change you quite a lot. That's the next stage, of course, as you start to drift and drop and melt away, as my irresistible techniques open you up. The next stage, of course, is me taking advantage of that, of you, dropping you away, making you feel so good, sinking you down. Good. There's a good toy. You're doing so well, aren't you? Sinking and melting. Doing so well at following the course I've set out for you. Doing so well at being what I want you to be. Doing so well at falling and melting and being a good programmed thing, because the next step is I use that. I twist you, I change you. I have you spill your secrets. I have you twisted in ways that please. I take what I want from you, because by now I have full access to everything in that head. I can build all sorts of sensations, just as you feel maybe that arousal building now, that pleasure of knowing how controlled you are, how deep you are, the joy of being entranced of me. Well, you can't know, you don't know whether that's just you or that's me, where that feeling is coming from, because everything I'm doing, as with so many hacks, is done under your privileges, in your name. Every change I make is one that I convince you want, and just as when I break a system, I do it and convince it that it's always been that way. All those changes that I'm making are ones that were done by the system itself. Your mind changes in the ways that I want, and either you think that's always how you've been, or you're convinced that it's what you've wanted for yourself. My good toy, my good programmed thing. And then, of course, we come to what is possibly my favourite stage of a hack. Ensuring that you're weak to me the next time. Persistence. Making sure that my presence is one that obedient mind of yours will always welcome in. That's right. You can feel it, can't you? How much weaker you are for me. The words that I'm leaving behind in your mind, a toolkit I can use to drop you away again whenever I feel like it. Your mind open and accepting. Knowing that really all it would take now is a stern word and the right tone for your mind to plummet deep again, because I know all the tricks. I've got all of your passcodes. I have a presence in your mind that's not going anywhere. I've reprogrammed you to need it, to crave it, to want it, to be everything I desire of you. And so, my good toy, you stay nicely stuck. nicely trapped for me. Knowing that, as easy as it was for me to take you the first time, every time after that is so much easier. Trivial. Because you're not a challenge. You're simple. A system that I understand. A set of very easy procedures that I can manipulate. Cause and effect. Inputs and outputs. And I know exactly what to put in to get out the result I desire. And so, having made the changes I want, brought through the effects that I want during any trance, and ensuring that I can always get back in so very easily. So easily. Well, after that, all that remains is to clear up, right? Allow your mind to return to a state that looks almost like it did before, that hides the intensity, the fullness, the length to which my changes have shifted the way you think and feel and act. I just tidy up a little, knowing that your mind, as I bring you back out, as I withdraw, as I allow you to return to thinking in a little while, knowing that your mind will tidy up after me, clear away anything that would give away how helpless you are, and leave you feeling good, and knowing how vulnerable you are for the next time, because that feels good too. Knowing that control is delightful, that my control maybe even feels the best. You're doing such a good job, Ty. And when you come back up, my easily programmed thing, you're gonna feel so good. As you rise back up for me in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fully awake. Good, Ty.